I'm Andy Aledort, and in this edition of Indie, we're going to continue our look at cycle of fourth progressions and arpeggio-based patterns. As we had done previously, we had a progression in the key of A minor. It started in A minor, went through all 12 tones, and we had arpeggio shapes based on triads that went through each of the chords. That's one thing that's nice about having a chord progression, is the chord progression will carry you through different keys and tonal centers, and then you are sort of forced to look at arpeggio shapes and notes and intervals based on ultimately all 12 keys. Having a cycle of fourths or cycle of fifths chord progression, something that's specific, there's a familiarity to the progression, sort of a gravity to it when you hear it. So it just makes sense to you when you're listening to go. If you go from A minor to D minor, and then you hear G to C, it's like, well, I've heard that before. That makes sense. So it just helps you. It's familiar territory. It's not just 8,000 scales and you don't really know what's happening. Okay, so let's review very quickly. We started with A minor. Our arpeggio was that shape. And then we had D minor, played like this. To G. To C. So here is a method for practicing going through those arpeggios and the chords, but with smaller pieces of the arpeggio for you to focus on. All right, let's just look at the bottom triad to the octave. We can play a repeated pattern based on 16th note triplets that goes like this. So I hammered. And then we can go to D minor. And then G is here. And here's C. So of course you can continue through the rest of the progression using all of those 3-note triads on the bottom 3 strings. But another way to practice is to go through each of the different arpeggios within a single chord. So that would be like this. Then I'm going to go here for the next one. So here was A minor here, and then here. Then the next one would be here. And then the next one's here. You can go here for the next one. And then here. And our last one would be up here. We can use this approach and incorporate the cycle of fourths chord progression at the same time. And that would be like this. And then you can continue all over the board. So of course you could start anywhere in those triad shapes for each one of the chords. You could start in the D string or the G string or wherever and continue going through the fourths. Certainly you don't have to start on A minor every time. You can start on F, you can start on B flat. The idea is to have something to practice that's going to help you learn all those shapes on the fingerboard, build up your right and left hand coordination, and then learn those chord shapes and the triads and the music theory all in one big happy package to give you something fun to practice.